one more point to be made, and that was made to us here by experts watching this. Very, very important for Kim Jong-il. He was believed to have suffered a stroke over the summertime. There's talk of succession. This is for domestic consumption, and this is for the consumption of none other than President Obama. Kim Jong-il wants President Obama, the White House, to notice North Korea again, to notice that it could do some real damage if it wanted to.
Well, I'm gathering that as the president travels through Europe, in Prague right now, he has taken notice. Thank you very much, Greg Palcott. Let's get reactions from the White House and White House correspondent Mike Emanuel, who's live in our Washington bureau. And Mike, we're going to hear from the president at about 4 a.m. Eastern Time, a speech that is supposed to touch on the idea of a world with no nuclear weapons. I imagine his speechwriters are working to add all of this latest news so that the president can mention it when he talks about it later on this morning.
Rick, one would expect that there would be a swift response from President Obama, whether it's at that speech or at another event. But so far what we've heard from the administration comes from a State Department spokesman that basically says that this is seen as a provocative act and that the U.S. will take the appropriate steps to let the North Koreans know they cannot threaten the safety and security of other countries with impunity. That's similar language to what we heard from President Obama yesterday at a news conference with French President Nicolas Sarkozy. So the U.S. clearly choosing their words carefully at this point. We can expect a flurry of activity at the United Nations, a short distance from where you are, Rick. Basically, the U.S. going to the UN Security Council. At the same time, U.S. military and U.S. intelligence assets will be judging and studying to figure out exactly how well this test went for North Korea. We know that the U.S. military has had surveillance aircraft in the area flying from Okinawa, Japan. There's also been a variety of U.S. ships in the region monitoring the situation, and so you better believe that they are studying the intelligence that they have been getting, along with U.S. intelligence officials, to try to figure out exactly how well this test went off. And as you mentioned, obviously a big concern has been that this would be basically a brochure to other governments around the world. Look what we can do. Look what we could sell to you if you're interested in buying, Rick.
And of course, the approach that the Obama administration is talking about is still a diplomatic one. It's to try to get North Korea back to the negotiating table, right?
Well, that's absolutely correct. Yesterday, the envoy to the North Korean talks basically threw out the idea that the Obama administration would be open to direct one-on-one talks with the North Koreans, also committed to the six-party talks, trying to get the neighbors that are most directly influenced or affected by North Korea's actions, South Korea, Japan, China, Russia, also to go to the table with North Korea. But a lot of officials feel like, the North Koreans feel like the only leverage they have is when they do something negative like this. And so the North Koreans may be trying to force basically the international community to the table to talk to them and consider them a force around the world, Rick.
Mike Emanuel on our Washington bureau, thanks very much. This has been a Fox News Alert. Fox News Watch will return right after the break, and President Obama, 4 a.m. Eastern, right here.